with Ken Ackerman, Kimberly Moss, Kathy Smith, Andy Carson, and Tony Martinez.
Don't you just want to brush those roses off the top of my shirt there in that opening? They're not coming off. They're going to be there for quite a while.
Welcome back to Good Day, Oregon. I'm Ken Ackerman.
I'm Kimberly Moss. Nice to have you with us on this Wednesday morning. Jerry Frank is going to join us a little bit later. He is at the Portland Farmers Market in the South Park blocks. It starts at 10 o'clock, and Jerry's going to give us a great preview.
And also, we have a Chicken Run to talk about, the new movie. A local animator was involved in it. We're going to find out all about Al and Fredo here.
No, it's Rocky and Ginger.
Rocky and Ginger, whatever their names.
They don't want to become a chicken pot pie. They're English hens, and Rocky, who Mel Gibson is the voice, goes in to save the day. So with all the little hens.
And you know what's neat about claymation? We're going to learn how long it takes to actually make one of these movies and the process of stop motion animation.
That much more coming up. Kathy Smith is going to join us first. She's got to look at some news.
All right, Chicken Run starts Friday.
Yeah,
Me,
Mel
Myself,
Gibson.
and Irene starts Friday. And a lot of good movies coming to town.
Certainly are. And you've heard about Chicken Run, right?
I've heard all about it,
It's an animated film, and as I said, Mel Gibson plays Rocky, who goes in to save the day, some English hens who don't want to become a chicken pot pie.
Take a look at it. We've got a clip for you.
Order! Order! Quiet, everyone! Settle down. I would like to call to order the 50... Oh, please.
Let's have some discipline in the ranks. What?
Thank you, Fowler.
My RAF days. We were never allowed to waste time with unnecessary chit-chat.
Yes, thank you, Fowler.
Right. Carry on.
Now, I know our last escape attempt was a bit of a fiasco. But Mac and I have come up with a brand new plan. Show 'em, Mac.
Right. We tried going under the wire, and that didn't work. So, the plan is, we go over it. This is us, right? We get in like this, wind up, and let her go.
Poor little turnip. Hey, one of the key animators from the film lives right here in Portland. We'd like to welcome Teresa Drilling. It's nice to have you with us. Boy, it looks like a great film.
Teresa, the facial expressions, I think, really make the film. And when you're talking about facial expressions, it's not that easy to change. It takes a while. Give us the process of stop-motion animation.
Okay, well, the process of stop-motion animation is a process that's accomplished frame by frame. Just as you and I would be in front of a camera as we are right now, and just move naturally, everything has to be done frame by frame in stop motion. And I'll demonstrate on the snowman.
Okay, which is made of...
This guy is made out of clay.
Okay.
And some other harder materials like the hat. But if you wanted him to wave and turn his head, you would literally just move it a tiny little bit, move his head a tiny little bit, take a frame.
Do it again.
So how long does it take to make a film like this? How long did it take to make this particular one?
Well, Chicken Run was in production for 18 months.
Wow.
And I was there working on it for 8 months of it. So I came in as an additional key person.
We have some video behind the scenes, and we can take a look at this as we talk to you a little bit more about what it takes to put this together.
Now, when we talk about this, when you move the head, you move the hand. How many times do you have to do that to make 1 second of film?
Well, you have to move it 24 times.
24 times for 1 second.
24 times.
And you know, Kimberly, believe it or not, the way on the snowman is the easy way of doing it. There is another way that you were telling me, being a master animator and director. When you use clay figures, sometimes you have to use different figures and make all those figures beforehand, right?
Right. That's a process called replacement animation. And I have a very simple example of it here.
If we can come back live to the studio, we can show you. What is this?
Okay, we want to have, let's say, this poodle running along across the table. And instead of sculpting it as I go along, what I can do is I can put the poodle in place, take a picture of it, put a different poodle in a different position in place,
take a picture
of it.
And keep moving it ahead just a little bit.
Just keep moving it a little bit ahead. And this, of course, is a very simple replacement animation. It can get quite complex.
How has animation changed since the days we all remember of Gumby and Pokey?
The basic process is exactly the same. It's not a very high-tech sort of process, but the finesse has really increased exponentially. We have tools now that help us see our work as we move along so we can capture it on video. We have cameras that we can use to help position the characters more precisely. We have better tools for listening to the voices and animating with them as we go along. So the more you can see, the better feedback you get, the more finessed the animation is.
Did you ever look at the dailies afterwards and say, wait, we didn't like how that went, we've got to change it, or maybe you moved something too much, you had to redo the shot?
That always is part of the process. That's what we call retakes. We try to minimize those, of course, and there weren't an awful lot on Chicken Run because they were working with the best people in the world who really have it down. It's just part of the process, and you always look at your work and think it could have been just a little bit better, and that's what continues to keep you pushing for better and better.
With modern conveniences such as computer animation with A Bug's Life or Ants, where it's animation but it's done on a computer, why hasn't that replaced this, because this seems so tedious?
Well, computer animation can be very tedious also. It's just a different sort of process, and it's a different sort of look as well. You wouldn't want to eliminate all watercolor painting in the world because there's oil painting. There's just two different processes, two different looks, two different styles, and I think there always will be.
What are you working on here?
This is behind the scenes on the set. This is Mr. Tweedy, and he is in the middle of a walk.
Is he the one who wants to make them into chicken pot pie?
He's one of the two. He's the Mr. of the Tweedy pair.
How do you go about this? You don't have real actors here with their voices. How do you go about the mouth movements and the talking, things like that, without having their voices there?
Well, we actually do have their voices there.
You do?
In an animated film, one of the very first things you do after you have your story and your storyboards in place is you record the actors.
So that goes first?
That goes first.
Interesting.
Because how a person says a line determines what kind of body language goes with them.
And the facial expressions, things like that.
Exactly. The actors provide or I should say the voice actors provide the film for your ears, and the animators provide the film for your eyes.
Fascinating.
Now, I know that you work with Will Vinton out of Will Vinton's offices with claymation. Is any of the movie shot here? Is it all shot in L.A., or is it all shot here? I have no idea.
The entire production was shot in Bristol, England.
Bristol, England?
Bristol, England,
Now,
yes.
why would you have to go to England to shoot this? Because you have the actors with the voices there first. So why would you have to go to England?
Well, each studio has a different particular style, and DreamWorks wanted to work with the Aardman style on this project. So they went and they set this up with Aardman, and they have all their people and their base in Bristol, England. There's two major places in the world that does clay animation. Aardman in Bristol, England is one. Will Vinton Studios in Portland, Oregon is the other. So it's a really wonderful opportunity to have a little cross-fertilization, to be able to lend and borrow people back and forth. It just kind of expands the entire art form.
I have respect for your patience in working with this
It's wonderful.
Type of media.
How long is the film in its entirety, Teresa?
The film is 84 minutes long.
Terrific.
And how many frames would that be?
Well, you multiply that by 60 and by 24. So.
It's so wonderful to get an inside look at this film. Again, it opens on Friday. It's called Chicken Run. Mel Gibson, the voice of Rocky in this film. Any other well-known voices that we're going to hear in there?
Well, Miranda Richardson is the voice of Mrs. Tweedy. Jane Horrocks, who you know from Little Voice, plays Babs. Timothy Spall and Phil Daniels play the rats. Amanda Staunton plays Bunty. A lot of very famous British actors.
We're going to see it. Have you
Fantastic.
seen the whole thing yet?
Yes, I have.
And thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
Very good. Teresa Drilling,
We
thank
look
you
forward
very
to
much.
seeing it.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for being here. We're going to be right back. Stay with us.